Here we go, part 2. Next, collared dove. The collared doves were first recorded breeding in the UK during the 1950s, having spread across Europe and Asia and Turkey in the early 20th century. These attractive doves are now common in UK gardens, especially in rural areas. They're smaller than a wood pigeon and grey-pink in colour, with a narrow black half collar around the back of the neck. Collared doves nest in evergreen and deciduous trees, shrubs, and climbers, making a rudimentary platform of sticks upon which they lay 2 white eggs. They mainly eat seeds and can be seen feeding under seed feeders. In summer, they also eat insects, while berries provide extra sustenance in autumn. Next, song thrush. With its characteristic repeated song phrases, spotty breast, and habit of smashing snails open on stones, the song thrush is a familiar bird to many gardeners. Sadly, this may not be the case for much longer, as its breeding population has dropped by around half since the late 1960s, most likely as a result of habitat loss caused by food shortages, especially for the young birds. The song thrush is slightly smaller than a blackbird and lacks the red underwings and pale stripe above the eye of the redwing. They are more often seen in gardens than the related whistle thrush, which is bigger and has more distinct markings on the breast. Next, greenfinch. Greenfinches are commonly seen at garden feeders eating sunflower seeds. Recently, numbers have been seriously affected by trichomonosis, a parasite-induced disease that causes deaths and that is passed from an infected bird to another at feeders. It can affect many species, including house sparrows, great tits, and other finches. For this reason, it's important to clean bird feeders regularly. With their colourful green-yellow plumage and sturdy beaks, greenfinches are easily recognizable in the garden. They have a twittering song which ends in a long wheeze, and often nest in evergreen shrubs. Next, redwing. The redwing is a small thrush with a brown back and creamy breast streaked with brown, rather like a song thrush. It has a creamy stripe above the eye and an orange-red patch under each wing, which is particularly visible in flight. This delightful thrush arrives in the UK around October from Scandinavia, the Faroes, and the Iceland to feast on ripe berries and fruit, and returns to its breeding grounds in spring. Redwings sometimes visit gardens looking for food, especially in periods of very cold weather. Planting buried shrubs and trees and leaving windfall fruit on the ground helps redwings and other birds survive over the winter. Next, great spotted woodpecker. Although you might think woodpeckers wouldn't visit gardens, they can often be seen at bird feeders, feasting on peanuts, mealworms, and suet. While they are not taking advantage of food offered in gardens, these distinctive woodpeckers hammer holes in trees to find insects such as beetle grubs. About the size of a starling, the great spotted woodpecker is primarily black and white, with a red patch under the tail. Juveniles have red crowns, and the males have a red on the back of the neck, which enables identification of the birds. Next, sparrowhawk. When we put our food out for garden birds, we inadvertently create a feeding station for predators such as sparrowhawks. These small but powerful raptors often fly low over walls and fences, swooping in at speed to catch prey like tits and finches from garden feeders. The good news is that sparrowhawk predation doesn't appear to have a significant effect on overall population numbers, and they are magnificent birds to watch with their pale breasts and conspicuous bearing, yellow eyes, and sharp talons. Male sparrowhawks are much smaller than females, with a blue-grey back. Females are juveniles and have dark brown backs, darker bearing on the breast, and a white stripe above the eye. Next, the feral pigeon. Feral pigeons are commonly seen in gardens, often moving around in small flocks. Their wild ancestor, the rock dove, is now found in only coastal areas of Scotland and Northern Ireland, when the feral pigeon can be seen all across the whole of the UK. Feral pigeons eat mostly grain and seeds, and will eat wildflower seeds. They nest in cavities in buildings, on ledges, and anywhere else that resembles the nooks and crannies in rock faces favoured by their wild cousins. Their plumage varies widely from grey Black and green form similar to the rock dove, to white birds and mixes of white, grey and brown. Next, jackdaw. Jackdaws are the smallest members of the crow family in the UK. These adults are black with grey round the back of the neck and pale irises. These sociable birds can sometimes be foraging in gardens. You might hear their loud jack jack calls. They feed on a wide range of scrapes, grains, fats, fruit, invertebrates, and even small mammals. They will also eat other birds' eggs if they can find them. Jackdaws breed in colonies, choosing to build their nest in holes in buildings, trees, and even chimneys. They're doing well in the UK, with a recent survey showed a 60% increase over 20 years. Next, blackcap. Blackcaps are easily identified by their crowns, which are black in males and brown in females and juveniles. Both males and females have pale grey bodies with grey-brown rings. Blackcaps have a melodic song, and they breed in shrubby undergrowth. Blackcap song is similar to that of a garden warbler, but these two species look very different, and garden warblers are less likely to be found in gardens, despite their name, as they require woodland and dense scrub. In autumn, the blackcaps that spend the summer in the UK migrate to southern Europe, but in recent years their place has been taken by other birds from Central Europe that spend the winter here, largely as a result of supplementary feeding in gardens. Look out for blackcaps visiting bird feeders from mid to late winter. Next, chiffchaff. Chiffchaffs usually arrived in early March from northern Africa and the Mediterranean, although some birds are now overwintering in the UK, most likely as a result of milder winters due to climate change. These greeny-yellow warblers look very similar to the willow warblers, but have a completely different song. Willow warblers have a sweet descending melody, while chiffchaffs sing their names over and over. Chiff-chaff, chiff-chaff. They're more likely to be seen in gardens than willow warblers, which are more often seen in open woodland. As insectivores, chiffchaffs don't visit seed feeders. Instead, they can be seen flitting about in trees, eating flies, aphids, and caterpillars. Next, the coal tit. Smaller than both great tits and blue tits, the coal tit has a black head with white cheeks and a prominent white patch at the back of the neck. It has a buff body and blue-grey wings. Coal tits feed on conifer seeds and also visit seed feeders. In winter, these little birds often join flocks of other tits moving through the countryside looking for food. These small British birds nest in holes and trees, often in conifers, and rarely use nest boxes. Next, siskin. These attractive little finches sometimes visit gardens in small groups during the winter to feast at seed feeders. The male is green with a black crown chin and wing patches and a yellow-green breast. Females are streaky grey-green and lack the black crown on the male. Siskins eat tree seeds such as birch, alder, pine, and spruce, and add insects to their diet in summer. They tend to visit gardens in the new year, especially in years when the spruce seed crop is meager and in periods of wet weather when cones close up, restricting access to seeds. Next, chaffinch. Last one. Female chaffinches have greeny-brown plumage with white patches on the wings, while males have bright orange heads and bodies, a blue-grey crown and a nape, and brown back. Chaffinches are ground feeders, often seen below bird tables and eating the seeds which other birds have dropped. Chaffinches nest in trees and shrubs, and need a good supply of insects in summer to feed both adults and chicks. This beautiful finch is a common garden bird, but there has been a sharp population decline since 2012, possibly due to the parasite-induced disease trichomonosis. As with greenfinches, the best way to help chaffinches is to ensure that garden feeders